I'm Jason Las Vegas. These are my 2022 NFL Week 18 picks. Okay, so it is currently 3:45 a.m. here in Las Vegas, Monday, January 3rd, 2022. Happy New Year to everyone. Happy Capricorn season. My birthday is on January 13th, so happy Capricorn season. Happy birthday to all my fellow Capricorns. Okay, so our first pick for the NFL Week 18, we're going to take the Chiefs. We're going to skip the Monday night game, the Browns versus the Steelers. The Steelers still are in playoff contentions. The Browns have been eliminated from playoff contentions. So you would expect the Steelers' final home game of the season to win that game. I would take them on the money line, but for this specific parlay, I'm going to stay away from it. The Steelers play the Ravens next weekend. That's another game with two teams who will be in playoff contention. So I'm just going to stay away from the Monday night game. My first pick for the NFL Week 18 2022 will have to be the Chiefs over the Broncos. Chiefs are coming off of a tough 3-point loss to the Bengals. They had like 8 wins in a row. The Broncos are a terrible team. I watched them lose to the Raiders. Their offense is they're not going to put up enough points versus this Chiefs defense, and the Chiefs are still in contention for the number 1 position. So this is why this game is on Saturday. You want to have the Chiefs versus the Broncos. If the Chiefs win, I think they will be tied or they'll move into number 1 contention. And then the Titans on Sunday, they would have to win their game to move back in. But for this game, I'm going to have to take the Chiefs minus 10 points over the Broncos. That's going to be an easy game. Next game, I'm going to take the Cowboys minus 2.5 versus the Eagles. This was kind of a tough game. Cowboys are also coming off of a loss to the Cardinals this weekend. That was a home game. The Cowboys have not lost a single game in a division. They've beaten Washington football team twice. They've beaten the terrible Giants twice, and now they're 1-0 versus the Eagles. This game really does not have much playoff contention in here. The lines, whoever wins this game doesn't move too many positions in the playoffs, so you would expect some of the starters to not really be playing. This is a home game for the Philadelphia Eagles. We know their fans are fanatics, but you would also expect the Eagles to not really want to go all in if you have to play a playoff game the week after. So you would expect a few starters in the second half of this game specifically to probably sit down, because it's a division game and the Cowboys have won every game in the division. Under 3 points on the road, I'm going to take the Cowboys. Cowboys could win on a last-second field goal with the backups in, right? So I'm going to take it just because it's under 3 points. If it was like 3.5 or above 3, I would probably lean towards the Eagles. But under 3 points, under a field goal, I'm going to take the Cowboys to win this game. Next game, I'm going to take the Patriots, right? If the Chiefs do lose, which not many people do believe that's going to happen, but if the Chiefs just happen to lose versus the Broncos on Saturday, the Patriots, I think they still have opportunity to be a number 1 seed. Either way, the Dolphins haven't looked so good in the last few weeks. They've played playoff teams. They played the Saints. They won that game because they were playing against a person. The Saints quarterback last name was Buck, and they won that game, but they did just lose this past weekend to the Tennessee Titans on the road. I think that game was like 34-3. The Dolphins did not look that good. Patriots versus the Dolphins on the road in a division, you're gonna have to take the Patriots. The Patriots just put up 50 points. That's a lot of points. So I'm gonna take the Patriots here to beat the Dolphins. Dolphins have been officially eliminated from the playoffs. Who knows what they do? They may even bench Tua. I know they love benching Tua. They may bench Tua in this game just because. Who knows? I'm just going to take the Patriots. They're looking towards the Super Bowl. They are one of the best teams in the AFC. Minus 5.5 points. Not too bad. If this was 7.5, I would be a little bit leaning more towards the Dolphins. But, less than a touchdown, I'm going to take, right? Basically, less than a touchdown. I'll take the Patriots over the Miami Dolphins. The Colts. Wow, is this a tough line? I don't think so. The Jags are terrible. The Colts, obviously, and you put the Colts in all of your money line parlays to get that minus 1,000 down. But the Colts are coming off of a pretty tough loss to the Las Vegas Raiders, right? But Las Vegas, they've been playing underrated all season. But the Jaguars are they the worst team in the league this season? Right? Do they have the worst record? Either way, I haven't watched almost any Jaguar game this season. Colts still playing for playoff position. You would think they could win this. 15.5 it's way too many points, right? But I think the Colts win this game by 21 points. So let's just take the Colts. Here we go. We're gonna take the Jets. I know it's crazy. It's just the Bills. They barely beat the Atlanta Falcons. It was perfect condition for the Bills. You are a outside team. I think it was snowing there in Buffalo, and Atlanta, a dome team came in. The game was close enough. I think the Bills did cover. It was like 29-14, but for a division game, the Jets played the Bucs pretty well. I think they only lost that game by like 4 points. They gave up the lead. They gave up the lead late. How much do the Bills have to play for in this game? You would think. I think the Jets, they may have the worst record in the league also. The Jets and the Jags and the Lions, these teams are terrible. But just because it's a division game, just because it's over 3 possessions, I'm going to take the Jets. Just blindly take the Jets. I think they literally have more to play for in this game, ironically enough. And, if you're the Bills, Josh Allen was already injured early in the season. You don't really want to risk it. You don't really need to beat the Jets by 20 points, right? So I'll take the Jets plus 16.5 points, just blindly. I think the Bucs, I think they were kind of almost embarrassed last weekend, right? They almost lost to the Jets. That was a tough game. I don't know what happened there. They did come back. They were down 24-10, I believe. So they came back to win that game. Obviously, they came back to score 18 unanswered points to win that game versus the Jets. The game shouldn't have been that close. It should have been 28-10 or something like that, right? That should have been the final score for the Bucs. But either way, the Panthers are terrible. Sam Darnold returned. He got sacked, I think, 37 times in the game that they played. So I'm just going to take the Bucs at home, minus 9.5. It's under 10 points. I could see the Bucs literally winning this game by 10 points, right? So I'll just take the Bucs, minus 9.5. Their focus. From what I understand, I believe the Packers have locked up the number 1 position for the NFC. So the Bucs, I think they'll be playing for 2 or 3 like that. So we're going to see the Bucs in the playoffs a lot this year. They won't be the number 1 team. They won't have a bye week. The NFL changed the rules a few years ago where instead of the first 2 teams getting bye weeks, now only the first team with the best record gets a bye week. So we will see the Bucs. They will get a few home games, right? But that's going to be interesting. I'm going to take the Bucs minus 9.5. This is kind of a tough game, obviously. Tennessee Titans. I believe the Chiefs win the game versus the Broncos, right? Maybe even if they don't cover, I still don't see the Chiefs losing the game versus the Broncos. So you would expect the Titans to play their starters for the most part. 10.5 is a lot of points. Houston Texans just lost to Trey Lance and the San Francisco 49ers. So I'm going to take the Tennessee Titans minus 10.5 points. Like I said, I do believe the Chiefs will win their game. The Patriots probably win their game. So the Titans, they'll be watching the scoreboard, but they will also probably be playing their starters for at least the first half. And I think that's enough for them versus Mills. Is it Dave Mills? Versus the Texans, Dave Mills. So I'll take the Titans minus 10.5. I believe most of the starters will play enough in that game for them to cover that spread. Obviously, we're just going to take the Washington football team versus we're going to take minus 6.5 Washington football team versus the New York Giants. I don't think anyone can remember the last game the New York Giants won this season. I'm surprised they're not the worst team of the season, but they stink. Washington football team had such an up and down season. I don't know if Heineke's going to come back. He did play well versus the Eagles this weekend, but they did lose that game. Just blindly take the Washington football team versus the Giants. I don't know if the Giants score many points in this game. I actually think this line may be a little bit too low if you think about it. This is a division game, so there's a rivalry there. There's bragging rights there. There's, these two teams play each other twice a season. They don't like each other. But at this moment, Washington football team still under one possession, 6.5. You would think they can win this game by 7 points easily. This game is kind of tough. I'm going to take the Saints minus 4.5. Atlanta has been eliminated from the playoffs. Like I said, they did put up a pretty good fight in Buffalo in the snow, but they lost that game by 15 points. The Saints, with Taysom Hill back, with Kamara back, you have to love this defense. Minus 4.5 is not enough points for me to be worried with the Falcons. The Saints, and in the NFC, the Saints and the 49ers are still fighting to make the playoffs. I do not expect the Saints to go into Atlanta and lose that game and just hand the playoffs to the 49ers. Minus 4.5 points. Kamara has a big game. Taysom Hill is back. He's a little bit less injured. And and as you can see, the 49ers have to play the Rams. Obviously, that's a way, way, way tougher matchup. I'm going to take the Saints in that game. I'm going to take the Saints minus 4.5 to win that game and put some pressure on the 49ers. The Saints, that's the early game. You would see that, right? So you put some pressure on the 49ers. You win your game versus Atlanta. You cover, and then you would see what happened with the 49ers. Next game, this is a tough one. This is a tough one, right? Because now we have to really think about what are the Cardinals playing for? They won't be the number 1. They won't be the number 2. The Cardinals, they will be playing for the NFC West winner. They're playing Seattle. I think they beat Seattle. I know Seattle just put up 50 points. I can't remember the team they played. Who cares? It really doesn't matter. I mean, if you think about Seattle, they haven't scored 50 points, I don't think, many times this entire season. They look terrible. Cardinals coming off a pretty, very, very impressive win over the Cowboys. They were coming off a pretty big losing streak. But, they almost lost that game versus the Cowboys, right? That game was closer than it seemed. They were leading by 15 points in the fourth quarter, and I think they won by 3 or something. I can't remember the score. But for that, either way, obviously the team who's been better all season has been the Cardinals. I don't know how much they play Kyler Murray, because, if they win this game, they don't really move too much in the playoff race. But either way, Seattle's not that good of a team. I'm going to take the Cardinals minus 6.5 points. Next game, you have to take the 49ers plus 5.5. I think Kyle Shanahan, he always beats the Rams or something like that. I don't know if that's true. I would expect Trey Lance to play this game, and that's going to be a tough one for the 49ers to win. But the Rams, once again, they're not really playing too much for playoff position. The 49ers, if the Saints win, if the Saints beat the Falcons, the 49ers has to win their game. I don't know who wins the tiebreaker between those two. But either way, I think the 49ers in a division game, Kyle Shanahan beats McVay all the time. I think the 49ers have a lot to play for. It's going to be a tough game. The Rams could win this game by 3 points. Plus 5.5 points seem like too many points for a desperate team trying to make the playoffs in a division game. And I believe they beat the Rams earlier this season. So I'm going to take the 49ers plus 5.5. And for the last game of the NFL 2021 season in 2022 will be the Los Angeles Chargers versus the Las Vegas Raiders. I live in Las Vegas. Easy. The only money line I'm taking this week on this specific parlay will be the Las Vegas Raiders, right? Obviously, if we are lucky enough to hit all the rest of these parlays, there's no way in hell I'm going to be sitting in Las Vegas and bet against Las Vegas. So, for the last game of the NFL Week 18 picks, we're going to go with the underdogs, the Las Vegas Raiders winning this game, getting into the playoffs. They beat the Colts last week by 3 points. The Chargers beat the Broncos last week. Both of these teams, I think they still have the opportunity to make the playoffs. So this is the last game of the NFL Week 18 picks. We have to take the Las Vegas Raiders at home in Las Vegas on a money line, plus 125. Okay, so we have 12 NFL picks for NFL Week 18, the final week of the season. As you know me, I love to add crazy parlays. There's not a lot of extra sports going on, but there's also a line that we saw earlier that doesn't make any sense. Alabama versus Georgia. Now, I don't know what's going on, but for some reason, I'm seeing Alabama as a underdog. It's plus 3 points and a plus 125 on the money line. I'm going to blindly back up the Brinks truck, and we're going heavy on Alabama on the money line. I mean, it's only plus 125. It's not the biggest money line in the world, but I think Alabama wins this game. I don't see any reason why Georgia, who Alabama beat, I think it was 41 to like 20 or something like that. I know they beat them a few weeks ago when Georgia was undefeated. Georgia's coming off of a pretty impressive win over Michigan. Alabama coming off of a very impressive win over undefeated Cincinnati. I don't see why Alabama should be underdogs in this game. Maybe I'm wrong. Either way, I'm going to take the Alabama Crimson Tide to win the national championship Monday, January 10th. Let's go Alabama. Okay, so those are my NFL Week 18 picks, 12 NFL picks, and 1 college football championship pick. We're taking the Chiefs minus 10, all against the, well, not all against the spread, 2 money lines because we believe the underdogs are going to win that game. But for the most part, 11 against the spread and 2 money line parlays. We're taking the Chiefs minus 10 against the spread, the Cowboys minus 2.5 against the spread, the Patriots minus 5.5 against the spread, the Colts minus 15.5 against the spread, the Jets plus 16.5 against the spread, the Bucks minus 9.5 against the spread, Tennessee Titans minus 10.5 against the spread, Washington football team minus 6.5 against the spread, the Saints, New Orleans Saints minus 4.5 against the spread, Arizona Cardinals minus 6.5 against the spread, the San Francisco 49ers plus 5.5 against the spread, the Las Vegas Raiders on the money line plus 125, and the Alabama Crimson Tide on the money line in the college football national championship game plus 125. We're going to risk $3.18. We're going to risk $3.18 to win $17,721.54. Okay, so there you have it. Those are my 2022 NFL Week 18 picks, a 13 picks parlay, 11 picks against the spread, 2 money line bets, 12 NFL Week 18 picks, and 1 college football pick, college football championship pick for Alabama. Will I go 13-0 or will I go 0-13? What are your NFL Week 18 picks? Who are your favorites? Who are your favorites? Who's your lock of the week? Who's your home team of the week? Who's your road team of the week? Who's your upset / underdog pick of the week? And what's your game of the week? Obviously, there's it's crazy early in the week, so there's going to be crazy news. So a lot of these lines will be changing. This is just an early fun bet, but this is the biggest bet we will be having for NFL Week 18. We're going to stick to this for the most part, right? You never know. And what's your game of the week? I would say the game of the week for me obviously will have to be the Chargers versus the Las Vegas Raiders. You know, this game is going to happen in Las Vegas. I would love to go to the sports book to watch it. I'll probably just stay home to watch it because it's still the mask mandate and it's just not as fun. So I'll probably go outside after the game, right, to get that vibe. But I'll stay home, live stream the game. That's going to be the game we'll be paying the most attention to. Not too many sexy matchups. I mean, the Cowboys and the Eagles, that should be fun for a Saturday primetime game. But besides that, not the most sexiest matchups. And then obviously probably the game that most people will be watching will be the 49ers versus the Rams, I guess. I mean, it's not really, right? Yeah. Yeah, that seems like that's the game of the week. Yeah. I'm Jason Las Vegas. This is Capricorn season. Happy birthday to all my fellow Capricorns. January 13th is my birthday. These are my 2021-22 NFL Week 18 picks. We have a 13-pick parlay, 11 picks against the spread, 2 money line picks of underdogs. We're risking $3.18 to win $17,721.54.